Three massive fights have just been announced. Joshua Van vs Brandon Royval, Petr Yan vs Marcus McGee, and Michel Pereira vs Marco Tulio, which is an absolute underrated banger. But let's break all three of them down, starting off with the biggest one, I think, Joshua Van vs Brandon Royval. And the reason this is so impressive, so big, is Joshua Van's just won at UFC 316. He's now stepping in on short notice to fight the #1 ranked flyweight at UFC 317, the next pay-per-view, 3.5 weeks later, or 4 weeks by the time his fight finished. He's fighting, again, Brandon Royval, his biggest test in his whole career, and I think he is one of the most underrated flyweights and one of the most underrated fighters in the whole UFC. Obviously, just beat Tatsuro Taira, and Tatsuro Taira was a huge favourite. Everyone thought he was going to go in, beat Brandon Royval. I think because Brandon Royval has lost to Pantoja, people think he's not rubbish, but like not quite up there. Where that just shows how good Pantoja is. Brandon Royval has beat, obviously, Tatsuro Taira, and he also beat Brandon Moreno. I think that was in Mexico too, if I'm right in saying that. But he just hasn't quite got that title yet, just because Pantoja is so good. Obviously, this was meant to be Manel Kape vs Brandon Royval, which I was very looking forward to, but Manel Kape has pulled out again. I think he's had about 11 pullouts in his UFC career, so it's horrible for Manel Kape. I can't imagine how he feels after that, but I think he broke his foot. I think I watched a video of him kicking his partner's knee in sparring and he broke his foot, which is very unlucky. He did have a shin pad on too, it's not even like he was just kicking bare shin, and the fella had a knee pad, so very unlucky. But I'm still hyped with this matchup. I was so hyped with the Manel Kape Brandon Royval, and I'm still kept my excitement for the fight with Joshua Van's taking place. If it was like a Tadzhia Ulanbekov, who's a complete different style, then maybe I wouldn't be as hyped. But Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval is going to be such a good fight. But I 100% expect it to be on the main card. I think it'll be an absolute disgrace if Justin Tafa versus Jonathan Deniz is on the main card and they're on the prelims, which would be disgusting in my opinion. But UFC 317 International Fight Week, Joshua Van's got a huge following now after his recent win at UFC 316, and he can just take it up a complete another level against Brandon Royval, especially if he wins on an Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira fight night, or main card, sorry, and it's on International Week, so he's going to get a huge push if he wins this, and I think he will get a title shot. Obviously, he's just beat Bruno Silva, and what a performance. His countering, his boxing and his countering is, I'd probably say, the best in the whole of the UFC. His countering is so good, so high level, slipping out the way of punches, countering him with a 3-punch combo, not just slipping and throwing one shot back, slipping, throwing a backhand, left hook, backhand he loves, or slipping his head to the inside and unloading a massive left body uppercut to Bruno Silva. He does it to loads of people. He's done it to Cody Dearden. He's an absolute monster in the box. He's got great takedown defense, which we've seen against Ray Saruya, and he is a real star. But Brandon Royval is probably the most underrated fighter in the flyweight division, and he is so good. And I am going to go Brandon Royval by decision. I think he will mix in his MMA game as a whole. I think we might see him getting a couple of takedowns. Because Joshua Van's boxing is amazing, that is his best weapon, but I can see Brandon Royval maybe staying at kicking range, coming in with his 1-2s, trying not to get counted and mixing it up with the takedowns. I can see a Brandon Royval decision win. I am rooting for Joshua Van, I would love him to win, but I just love how active he is, and I'd love him to win, because Brandon just seems like he wants to be active too. So if Joshua wins, obviously, in 29th of June, I expect to see them maybe in October in Abu Dhabi, or even in November, Madison Square Garden, hopefully under Tom Aspinall, John Jones. But obviously I've seen MMA Guru talking about this. Joshua Van's from Myanmar, which is very close to Thailand, and he was saying in that part of the world, which is very common in Muay Thai, they fight all the time. They see it as almost like a job. They don't have a huge win and then have 6 weeks off. They have 6 months off, sorry. They have a huge win and have 6 weeks off and it's straight back to it in a fight camp, or just straight in having a fight. So Joshua Man's the exact same. I think he would have, by that fight, he would have fought 3 times this year, and I think he would have had 5 fights in the space of a year, which is unbelievable, and I am very excited to watch that. I am going to go Brandon Royval by decision, as much as it pains me, but I hope it is Joshua Mann by decision. On to the next fight, Petr Yan versus Marcus McGhee, and I understand why the UFC have done this, but I do not agree with this in the slightest, and I think it's such... I can't describe it. I think it's so offensive towards Petr Yan. He's ranked number 2 in the world, and you're matching him with ranked number 13, who's very dangerous too. It's not like this ranked number 13 who Petr Yan's easily going to destroy. Marcus McGhee is an absolute beast. His striking is so good. His boxing, same as Joshua Van, is really good, and Marcus McGhee has serious knockout power. And Petr Yan, I just think, obviously he wanted to fight badly at UFC Abu Dhabi. I think it's July 26th. He wanted that fight desperately. He wanted to fight in that card. He called out Umar Nurmagomedov, which would have been amazing. But Umar said, no, I want to fight in October. Could we not say to Yan, look, July to October, what, three and a bit months? Because it's at the end of July really, so it's really August. You've only got August, September, and then if Abu Dhabi's at the start of October, only 2 months. Can we not just wait that amount? But he did want to fight. Maybe if he beats Marcus McGhee pretty convincingly and quite fast, then he can fight Umar Nurmagomedov. But it gives me the vibes of Poirier Saint Denis, where Dustin Poirier was ranked number 3 or 4. He fought someone ranked number 12 or 13, Benoit Saint Denis, and obviously beat up. Benoit Saint Denis finished him in the 2nd round, and then he got a title shot because he done the UFC a favour, fought this up and coming guy, and then beat him, and then he got the title shot. I can definitely see that happening now that Merab beat Sean O'Malley. Obviously, Merab vs Corey Sandhagen is next, and I don't know how I feel about that, because I understand, I've seen a stat saying Corey and Merab combined have beat the whole top 10. That is insane, but Corey's on a 1-fight win streak, and Petr Yan, alright, he's only on a 2-fight win streak, Son Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, but I think Petr Yan vs Corey Sandhagen should have been the match in a 5-round co-main event at UFC Abu Dhabi. I think that would have been perfect, and I am surprised they never done that, because Corey Sandhagen obviously can beat Merab, and he definitely has a chance. Like I was saying in my other video, no one thought Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo were going to lose, but then they did. Conor McGregor comes in, Chris Weidman comes in, and obviously Corey Sandhagen could be that guy, and I understand that Merab's fault. Petr Yan and Merab wants to stay active, but if Merab vs Corey Sandhagen doesn't happen till say November, what was the point? Merab vs Corey Sandhagen has to happen in August or September, in my opinion. August, or I think there is a pay-per-view, there's not going to be one in September, it's going to be the 4th of October. So that card, it has to be on that card. They can't have this wait out long, because then what does Petr Yan do? Does he have to fight again? Does he have to fight Umar Nurmagomedov? Who knows? And I don't know, it's a weird situation the bantamweight division's in, but the fight's been made, so what can you do? Petr Yan is by far the most fun fighter in the whole of the UFC to watch, by far, and absolutely brings it. I love the way people say he's got the deepest bag in MMA. If you don't know what that means, he's just got the most moves. He's the most highly skilled fighter in the UFC. He does head kicks into spinning back kicks, into spinning back fists. He's amazing flying knees. So good. His takedowns are so good. His trips, his major outer reaps. I can't remember what the Japanese name is, but he is so good. And this fight is very difficult. Marcus McGhee is really good. He's got that knockout power. He's got loads of finishes on his record. But this is a huge step. I would have liked to see Marcus McGhee fight maybe a Song Yadong maybe next, or even a Henry Cejudo, someone like that. But the timeline works out perfect for him. He's got the biggest opportunity of his whole career, fighting ranked number 2 while he's ranked 13. And I can definitely see him beating Yan But I do think this is like an 80-20 matchup. I am 80% Petr Yan. I think it will be a Petr Yan by decision. Now, I don't actually think he will get the finish. I think it will be Petr Yan by decision. And I think Marcus McGee might win maybe the first or second round. And then Yan will win the other 4. I do think that's what will happen. But very excited for it still, because I love watching Petr Yan fight. And if he wants to be active, be my guest. But on to the final fight, which is an extremely underrated fight, Michel Pereira versus Marco Tulio. And this fight, obviously, it's not as big as the other two. It definitely doesn't have the same repercussions if someone wins as the other two. But Marco Tulio is a real prospect in the middleweight division, and who doesn't love watching the first round of a Michel Pereira fight? But because it never usually goes past that, and if it does, then the fight goes a bit weird. Michel Pereira does gas out. He had a horrible performance in his last fight against Abus Magomedov, just a weird performance. I think he was saving his energy till like the second and third round, and then I think he used all his energy and couldn't really do much in the second and third round. But what can you do? Some people do have stinkers. Obviously before that, Anthony Hernandez wasn't, again, he just completely gassed out. He didn't have anyone really for Anthony Hernandez. But Marco Tulio just absolutely destroyed Tresean Gore, and he is super high level, really good. He's had 2 fights in the UFC, 2 finishes, and pretty brutal finishes too. I am going to predict he gets another knockout win against Michel Pereira. I think it is going to, like, I said this for the last fight against Abus Magomedov, saying that it's not going out the first round. It's going to be an absolute war in that first round, and if it does, then it'll be a bit of a slugfest, and the whole fight was a bit of a slugfest. But Marco Tulio, I do think he will knock out Michel Pereira in the first round, but Michel Pereira definitely has a chance to knock him out too, or submit him. Michel Pereira has really good striking, proper unorthodox, and he's really powerful, got so many records, so many knockouts. Sorry, he went on a big little run where he was just finishing everyone, and I think this is a 50-50 matchup. I can see it going either way, but I am, to be honest, swaying towards Marco Tulio. I think he's really high level, and I can't wait to watch this. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.